oh my God, this is so confusing. Okay, so here's sort of my horizon line. Here's my little land business out there. And have this stuff is going to come down like this. So I guess I'll just try to keep emphasizing all the ways this is like pastels or anything else you might do, that you want to take control of your whole, oh, I tell you what, I'm so confused by all these things going on. Okay, I'm just going to have to cover some stuff up. I can't cope. Okay, okay, now I can't really see you or anything. So if you want to talk to me, just unmute and talk to me. Okay, so just like always, it's like composition is the most important thing. Be sure that if you're working from a photograph, that your painting is cropped to the same, that your photograph is cropped to the same size as your paper. So otherwise it's really difficult. And I'm just drawing with orange because I thought it's actually a very bright orange I'm drawing with, so it's quite a difference here. I just wanted to be sure you could see it. I don't know, I think I actually had some other plan, but I lost track of it in my usual confused state. Okay, so let's see. Also, I kind of already messed myself up. So here's, oh, I can't point. I was going to say, I'll point at the photograph and show you where that is, but I can't really. So yeah. Okay, so there's pretty much my composition. You know, I know there's going to be this white stuff in there. So the really big difference for me with oils, oh, that's making a lot of noise, isn't it? My teacher used to get really mad at me because she said I rattled my paintbrush too much. Okay, yeah, so right now the paper is so light, so I'm just going to go ahead. I mean, I could start anywhere, but I'm going to start with the sky. And one thing about the landscape painting is that the sky really sets the tone for the day for your paintings. So if you start with the sky, that gives you the sense right away that you're painting, what kind of day you're painting. And the other thing it does is that the sky, well, I'm going to have to use more paint than that. I wonder if I have too much light. Okay, wait a minute. That's might be a tiny bit better, but I'll just, of course now I can't see what I'm doing, but okay, so yeah, so in landscape painting, the sky gives you the first big hit about what kind of day it is. And a big problem people have in painting landscape, especially when they're outside, if they're painting outdoors, and I don't know, really, I can't really say about indoors, honestly. But a big problem people have is that they paint too dark. And for one thing, it's like right now I had too much light on. If you're so when you're outdoors, there's so much light on your canvas that it makes it kind of hard not to paint too dark, because when there's a ton of light on your canvas, you'll paint darker than you think you are. And then you bring it indoors and then it looks darker than you thought because it's darker indoors. So one thing you can always do when you're painting is you can come back, and if your painting's too dark, lighten your sky and then work down from there. Yeah, anyway, so these are the water-based oils, which I actually like quite a bit. And I would really recommend to anybody that wants to do oils because you don't have to use paint thinner and stuff like that. And I'm using a round bristle brush, like I said, and this stroke that I'm using right now is called Scumbling. And oh, you can see my palette, right? I can't see my palette anymore, but you can. So I hope one thing you might notice is I'm not mixing that much on my palette. I'm just doing a lot of the mixing right here on the paper. That was something, yeah. So anyway, I don't think a lot about what I'm doing in a way. Partly I worry that's because I've been painting a long time, so I don't have to think as much, but Also thinking just gets in the way. I think thinking gets in the way. And so I could think about it all I wanted. Like I could mix color on my palette forever, but I wouldn't know until I tried it how it was really going to work. So I actually got way more purple in my brush on accident than I planned. So I'm like right now I'm pulling my brush. If you're painting, it's much better to pull your brush than to push it. But I just, God, it's just a habit I don't seem to be able to break. So there you have it. It ruins your brushes, but you know what? I just went and I still have my grandmother's watercolor brushes that I use when I'm finishing oil paintings. And so I took one into Jerry's to see if I could find another one like it. God, that brush must be, oh God, I don't even know how old that brush must be, really old. But of course I don't treat a sable brush like I'm treating this brush right here. Okay, so yeah, it's tempting just to keep fooling around. And you know, I bet this part is too dark, but I'm just gonna keep going because I just need to see what's happening. And I need to be able to, let's see, what's that word? Contrast and sort of compare things and not, because it's all gonna look different. Like this looks really dark right now, but that's because the paper's all white. So maybe it's just looking dark. And I just thought I'd start all these things the same. Just, you know, life is very confusing. So wherever I can, I do try to simplify stuff in my painting. But one thing I think cannot be simplified is light and dark. So if you are painting like a blue dish, a blue bowl or something, then I think you have to not simplify it down to one color. If you're painting a blue bowl with a decent light on it. Now these I am gonna come back and it's unbelievable how much different the painting looks. I don't know what to do about it. Somebody has some ideas, so I'm gonna have to reach out to him about it.
You mean it looks different on where you are looking at it than it does what we see?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the colors are really different. You should be used to that, Barb.
Yes.
That's what's driving you crazy too. But I bought a really good camera. I mean, I bought the best camera I could afford, and it's still just not. But I think there's other things I can do. All right, so I know it's not drawn right or anything, but I just like trying to get it covered. I just always feel like I just want to get the thing covered, you know, and as quick as I can. That's another thing about oil paintings. It definitely takes longer than pastel.
Then I'm not switching.
You what? Oh, you're not switching. I would not switch. Honest to God, I would not switch. And I'll tell you, it's, I mean,
the only real drawback with the pastels is it's so fucking heavy if you get a lot of different colors.
Well, yeah. But the thing I really hate most about pastels is that you have to frame them under glass.
I was just talking about that today.
Yeah, I'm really all over glass. So what I've been painting on lately are these, they're boards, and they have a thickness, and so you don't have to frame them. They just.
You mean pastel?
No, my
no. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm doing probably at least as many oils right now as I am pastels.
So are you talking about those boxy boards that are pieces that are about an inch thick?
Yeah, or you can get them thicker than that though.
Okay, and then the edges become sort of the frame.
Yeah, when they're little ones, I paint around those edges, but the really big ones, like, no, I either stain them or just, I don't know, clear coat them or something. All right.
Are you painting on paper right now, did you say?
Yeah, gessoed paper.
Gesso paper, okay.
It's cheap, really. I mean, I actually love it, but if you framed it, you'd have to frame it under glass. But it is, I do just love everything about it. The surface quality, all of it. I mean, I gessoed it. You can't buy it this way. All right, and usually what I do is I just keep my white paint. I don't have it open, but usually I just keep it here with open because I just use so much. And then if you're, you know, if you're being well behaved and people are watching, I clean off what was there and then squirt out some new paint. Come out. Okay. And so the nice thing about this is I'm just using water instead of paint thinner. They actually make something that's kind of a paint thinner light stuff you can use with that, and that works even better. But I don't happen to have any. And the thing about these water-based oils that really is annoying is they take forever to dry. So usually I use some sort of dryer in it. Like just for instance, like with a regular oil painting, you're supposed to wait at least 6 months before you varnish it. So it can be dry all the way down. And these guys, these water-based, see, I should have paid more attention to what I was doing, but I sure didn't. The water-based ones, you have to wait a year. So that's because they're not dry all the way through. So it's a little hard to be a year ahead. I mean, it's not so hard now since we had a big break, but otherwise you have to go over to people's houses in a year or 6 months and varnish their paintings. Yeah, so I'm just using a little water to thin my paint. I don't ever use linseed oil to thin my paint. Even they do make linseed oils for these paints, these water-based paints, but I never use linseed oil. So that's kind of what I was saying about some of the technical things. Linseed oil is fat. And so what happens is, and it doesn't dry at all, and people just keep using more and more of it. And then the rule in painting is that you have to use fat paint over lean paint. So people use linseed oil in the wrong way. Usually they use it as, yeah, but this is so not right. Wait, let me turn my lights off. Just see if I can do it without knocking the whole thing over. Wait a minute. Oh, that's not that much better either. Maybe it's worse. Okay, wait, just a second, sorry. It seems worse. Maybe it's just the glare. Oh, that's better. If I can really paint in the dark now, I can. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah, so people use linseed oil like paint thinner. They use it to just keep thinning their paint, but it's not made for that. So it's better to just use, it's better to use nothing if you can manage to use nothing. That's the sort of safer bet. Don't add anything to your paint. It's already got as much in it. You know, linseed oil is cheaper than pigment, so the manufacturers use up to the complete tolerance of linseed oil. Okay, so another thing that's just like pastels, when I do water, I start it dark, and then I'm gonna add the light on top. And I heard somebody say once something about how do water from the bottom up, like the bottom of the ocean or the pond or whatever, do it from the bottom up. So think of the dark, murky, down under places, and then come to the very last thing, or like the waves and the lights on the top. And that really is important with pastels. And what happens if you don't start dark, it's really just hard to, where are you? I'm painting in the dark here. You probably can't see my palette anymore because it's so dark over here. Yeah, okay, so if you want to have a feeling of depth, like the rocks are a different kind of thing than the water. I mean, right now I have everything just painted the same way, but ultimately you want to be able to show this is water, you know, this is sky, these are rocks. Although I gotta tell you, I decided I was gonna try something yesterday when I was at the beach. I decided not to do any drawing. I decided I would just start painting some of the colors I was seeing out there. And that was pretty fun. And I spent a lot of time just trying to see how waves work. I mean, they're so complicated that I can't figure it out. But yeah, it was really fun just to paint colors and shapes and not think too much about drawing or the product, what the product might look like. So yeah, you can see it takes a long time. It takes so much longer. Like this is 30 minutes almost. That's all I ever do. So let's just go back to the sky. Also, if you were to paint, my big suggestion is, whoa, get a new paper towel before it's all over your hands. Use Bounty paper towels. Definitely worth it. Otherwise, your hands get dirty so fast. Okay, show up here. This was this huge fog bank that was rolling in. I've never seen anything like it. Like, never. And you always hear about, I mean, like here, everybody's boat has like a fog radar on the top of it, like on the top of the sail or the top of the cabin. And I guess this is like a thing.
And where are you exactly?
This place, well, the sky is from Scarborough Beach, and the land is at, I think it's maybe Beaver Point or something like that. But it's just funny. You'd just be sitting there in the sunshine, and all of a sudden there's this whole other thing coming along.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I wish you would, because
Are you supposed to show strokes and oils?
Oh yeah, well, like, you know what? Everything is whatever you want. There's no supposed to. This is, I think, a really great way to underpaint is using this scumbling stroke, which is just sort of blending everything together. Mm-hmm. Well, not blending it exactly, but just sort of smushing everything around. And then, so if you use this as your well, I'm sorry, I can't finish the sentence. Almost all painters have a way they start their paintings, which could be really different than the way they finish them. So this is a lay-in technique, but also you could take it clear to the end if you wanted to. Just keep adding colors and just sort of, scrubbing them in like that. Or kind of what I do is I start this way always, but then what I might do next is not always certain. Like if I was doing palette knife, then that would be my finish technique. I would start this way, but then I would finish with the palette knife. Or if I was, the thing I kind of have been liking doing with all these beach scenes is to use that little sable brush of my grandmother's and do sort of brush strokes on top, brush strokes that follow the form or give some sort of, I guess follow the form. So like this is a brush stroke that's just the same everywhere. Everything's kind of looking the same. I was doing this in art class one time in New York when the teacher says, everybody, look at what Janine is doing, like 60 people. And then he says, don't do it like she's doing it. And this is what I was doing, was I was just using this kind of brushstroke thing to lay everything in, because that's what my previous teacher taught. Yeah. There were some great moments there in art school. Okay, so so Like what you can do also, I could switch to my palette knife. This is not really a painting knife, but I could try it. And then I could start adding things in. Sometimes what happens is my painting gets so wet that I can't keep going with a brush, and I'll just switch over to a palette knife because I'm not really ready to be done. You have to be a little careful with this or it starts to look like it was in a hotel. I do love palette knife. I love palette knife because then you don't have any brushes to wash. I love the way you can work a lot longer. And you don't waste any paint. It's amazing. You just keep scraping it up and using it, you know? Other artists, like if you think about a guy like Sept, you know, I think he did it from the beginning. I'm not sure I think he started with bigger dots to start with, and then he worked down to smaller dots. But, you know, if you want to do something like that, some sort of faux impressionist thing, then you can do that. Or my teacher did a lot of paintings that were just cross-hatched when he finished them. And usually you can kind of see what I'm doing. Usually I'm working with the back side of my palette knife. Yeah, usually. Or you can flip it over and use the other side, but I think usually I'm using the back. I don't know, I broke my really good palette knife that I love so much that I'd had since I was in high school. I've probably bought about 10 palette knives now, trying to find the perfect thing. To no avail. But I'm going to stop in just a minute. Yeah, and you can, like, say you don't like it, you just can take it right off, and you can take it right down to nothing. And then another thing I did for a while that I liked a lot, I haven't done it in quite a while now, but I would always I would start it, and when it got too gunked up for me to work on it anymore, then I would switch over to palette knife, and I would just keep working as long as I could. And then I would press off the palette knife strokes with a piece of paper, because I wanted to finish it with a brush stroke at that particular moment. I didn't want to use palette knife for the finish, but I really liked that it gave me so much more time that I could work before I, you know, it got it so wet I couldn't do anything. And another thing I did a lot in Italy, and these really take me a long time, and it knocked a day off my painting time, which when you're going to have to go back and work on something for 4 or 5 days is kind of nice. And so, yeah, I started it with acrylics, and then I just painted right over with the oils. So, and I think that is, you know, if you're going to paint on something that has gesso on it, well, you're painting on acrylic paint. So, I don't know, I wish I could get this a little lighter. But when you consider how far I can get in a pastel in this amount of time, you know what? I'm gonna stop, and I'll hold this up to the other camera. Hopefully you can see it better. There she is.
Yep, that's good. That's good.
That's much more accurate to what.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so so did anybody watch? I mean, I know a few people did watch it, but I don't know, I did that thing where I did it off camera, which I don't mind doing that again, actually. Like, do the second demonstration, the second part and just
Vivian,
record it.
what's the difference between water-based oils and acrylics?
Acrylics dry fast. The water-based oils have the same, well, actually they dry slower than oil paints. So, so like you can keep mixing and everything with the water-based oils. You know, like when you would look at your palette, if you were doing acrylics and you'd look at your palette and you'd say, oh, I love that color, but it's dry as a bone. So that's the big difference. They feel just like oils to me. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't know the difference unless somebody.
I watched your off class, your in between class video, and I loved it.
Good.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I watched that one too. That was very helpful.
Good. I'm so glad. Okay, I'm just going to unplug. I'm just unplugging things.
So I just did mine.
You what?
I did it while you were doing it, but it doesn't look like the same.
Wait, you
Wow.
did the same picture?
I just did what you were doing, but it just
Wow.
it's
Wow.
not the same.
Wait a minute, I
it was
can't see
fun.
anything.
Yeah, either.
Okay, wait. So Michelle, is that you talking?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're going to show us what you did?
I just did this while you were doing it.
Where is she?
Oh, that's good. That's pastels.
It's pastels, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's a good
Wow.
start. That's good.
Yeah.
well, it's not a
Yeah.
start; it's a finish at the end.
Well, you
Yeah.
can finish it.
I started too.
Wow.
Mary, are you talking to me now?
Yeah.
Okay, just I have to I keep having to go back and forth between views. Oh my God, Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Hey,
Awesome.
thanks.
That is really incredible. All right, I have to unplug one more thing so nothing
Have fun.
goes up here. Holy cow. Okay, but are you proud of me? I had 3 screens going.
Wow.
Okay. All right, so you guys, you know, if you don't want to watch, you can just paint, or you can paint out of the corner, watch out of the corner of your eye. You don't have to, you know, I'm getting ready to share. And I know I don't have everybody's pictures. All I had to say is, I'm really sorry.
Do you want them resent if you don't have them, or too late for that?
Yeah, but let's look and see what I have, if I can get the right thing open. My life is so confusing. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't have my, I don't have my computer with me anymore because all I have is this desktop. So I can't do stuff right when you send me things and then I kind of lose it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Present.
Wow.
So remember, if your little people are in your way, you can just grab the top of that and move it over, or you can minimalize it if you don't want to see people.
Oh my gosh.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. God. Wow.
Oh, beautiful. Whoops, sorry. Okay, just a minute. Okay, Carol, I'm gonna have to go back to you. I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Michelle here. So, you know what? I think Michelle did a great job on her onion. It's the background. The background is undoing all her hard work.
Oh.
So I just changed the background a little, made the shadow darker. If you're using electric light, like in your house, then usually your shadows are cooler in color, not hotter. So what happens is that it's the shadow, but it looks like the light is shining extra specially strong there.
Yeah.
So
that was my second try. It just got worse and worse.
It's got some really
but you
good
know,
in it.
I was kind of proud of myself for trying to do those skins.
Oh, I know.
That looks nice.
The skins that are falling off are great.
Aren't they cool?
Yeah. That looks so good.
Onion skins
I
are
got
hard.
to the end of it, and I just thought I never want to see another red onion in my life.
that's all I spent my childhood painting, was because we had to have a still life setup that would last for like 4 weeks,
Yeah.
and you couldn't make anything up. So all you could really paint were onions. And,
Well, Janine, I was thrilled that it looked round.
it does look round.
So thank you very much for that, because I had no idea how you did round, and you told me.
Oh, good. Also, what I used to always do is I would have a little onion skin like sitting somewhere else.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Tell
I don't
you
know.
what
It's
it
like
is.
every painting. 3
My husband
onions.
said, "Oh, that's a great flower, Michelle."
Probably.
Oh well.
Okay, so here's Mary's back again from last week. So she did some of the things I suggested, and of course, I think it looks a lot better.
Very nice.
Nice, yeah.
It's good.
Wow.
This is her first pastel.
I really like the texture.
That's that rough side of the paper.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, it creates kind of a overall texture, which I mean, honestly, that's what most people use. I just personally prefer the other side because then I can make my own texture. But yeah, I think this turned out really good.
Wow, that came out great. Jeez.
I love the colors in the sail
Yeah.
and the trees. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
There it is, Lake Champlain, painted in Houston. Okay, and so then this is Mary's next picture.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh,
Wow.
oh my gosh.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
The other thing I used to paint all the time was dead roses.
That rose is great.
It's so good, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
I struggled with that rose.
Well, the struggle was worth it.
One.
Wow.
Also, I love this right here where the blue goes, sort of is floating over the red. That's really
Yeah.
cool too. Yeah, so I would say next time you set something up, anybody, try to set it up so the light is over more, so you would have more shadow.
Okay.
So that you would have about that much, at least that much shadow on there.
Gotcha.
I mean, not to make a rule, it just makes it easier.
Okay. Sounds good.
And so see, something is wrong with this. I didn't have a time to look at it before,
That's
I
fine.
did about it, but I think it's just tiny, but I just think this is down too far compared to this side. And then on this side over here, I would bring that shadow in.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really interesting what the shadow does, because the shadow shows you that it also is turning under.
A shape. Yeah.
Little cast shadow right in this part. So if that's not there, it looks funny. It looks like this part is poking out somehow into the light.
Yeah.
And another thing you can do to make sure that this will really sit on the ground is make a tiny little dark edge right under of the cloth color. So yeah. Good job. Oh yeah, well, there's another thing, like which is good for everybody. Like if you dropped a plumb line, like I wouldn't want to have to change this, so I just pick where I don't want to have to change, and I drop a plumb line from there. Then you start to see that it's not symmetrical.
Yeah.
So on a teapot or anything that has stuff sticking out of it, what you want to do is you want to get the body symmetrical first, and then add your stuff on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea.
So in the beginning, what I do is I actually, like, I'll find the middle. I'll say, okay, here's the middle. And then I'll measure from the side, measure. Mary knows what I mean when I say measure.
Yes.
I'll measure from here to the side and then do that same measurement again. And in the beginning, I would even draw a line in. If you're so far along that you don't want to, I mean, now you don't want to try and change it. I mean, if you were to change it now, you would do still. Well, I wouldn't try to change it now, but later on, I would just put little dots.
Okay.
And when I change things, if I've gone this far, when I change stuff, I might just do whatever was simplest.
Okay.
which would be bring this side out.
Right.
Not what's accurate, what's simplest, what would work. Yay. Okay, this is Barb.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
From Barb, cryptic things that I don't know what to think about. So
Wow.
I don't know if she wanted me to show you both the pictures or if they were just the same. I can't remember.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
one of the problems is that my camera is so, I have an iPhone, and so I take a picture with an iPhone and I can't ever tell. Although the thing that you're showing me now is actually a little, the oranges are a little less dark and
I was
bright.
going to ask you that. Where is this scene? Because I haven't seen any red.
This is Joe's Brook in
Oh, okay.
between, it's about halfway between Lindenville and, halfway between Danville and whatever's south of there. I forget what the,
And it's now this year?
yeah. I'd say the color on the top is what it looked like, but the color on the bottom is not as, is more orange and red than it would have been, than it was in real life.
Mm.
I just like,
Reflections are very pretty, Barb.
Beautiful.
Really, I love when the grass is green and the trees are colored.
Oh yeah.
It's a nice bank too.
it's not done,
Yeah, I know.
but it is what it is, where it is.
Wow.
Well, I, of course, at this moment admire anybody who's getting out and painting. Although I have been too, 2 days a week. But.
Well, this is only the second plein air painting I've done in the last couple months. Sad.
Well,
It felt so good. And then I went out yesterday to try to do more, and the wind was so bad I couldn't set up my easel, so I just left.
I got knocked right over on Thursday. You and I had that same easel. It knocked it off right to the ground. But it's a chance to clean up your pastels. Okay, so I'm going to show you these first. These are the 2 pictures I got from Barb. I have no idea which is the most accurate one. But before Barb says anything, I just want to say that I feel like there's really good things in both. So what I did was, whoops.
You changed it a lot.
Wait a minute, did I? Oh my God, my life. Just a minute. I put them together. Is this it? No, that's back.
No, that's
when
the
you first
last
started it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Oh my God. Is this the one I worked on? I worked on it.
So can I just say
Yes,
that
now you can talk because
I can just say that the reason I had those 2 is because the first one, I can't see them now, but my iPhone makes everything look brighter and gives it much more pow than it really has. So when I take a picture, my picture looks more like the right-hand side. But what it comes out on the iPhone is the thing on the left. So then I had to darken it to send it to you. It's really, it's
so
annoying.
you did
so
edit
annoying.
it some.
It's so annoying.
Well,
Anybody have a camera that doesn't do that?
well, also, oh golly. Sorry, I've got so much going on here. Okay, wait, now I can grab it. Maybe I can grab it. Okay. So I think this is, I mean, the thing is,
That's better.
It's backlit on the iPhone. Oops, it's backlit. So that makes it, so this is a combination of the 2 pictures. So here's one on the left, which all seems a little too bright. The one on the right seems a little too dark. So I combined them in Photoshop.
Oh, wow.
Because what I really wanted to show you is like, just in a way how you could really pick a focus in your painting instead of everything being like, I mean, the rocks are incredible, but like, do you want me to look here or do you want me to look there?
Yeah.
There's so much
I knew that
here. Well, I just want to keep kind of harping on it because like, do you really need, I mean, I just blurred it really crudely, but do you really need all that detail in here when you already did it here? And, just like you have to decide. where you want people to look at your painting. You have to make,
Yeah.
You're so
I knew that was the problem.
well, good. Knowing, I guess, maybe is the first step.
But I have a hard time not doing what I see. So it's really, you know, what I see is what I put down, and I have a very hard time making adjustments because of what I think I know, as opposed to what I actually can see. It's hard.
My biggest advice is pick the thing that's most important to you someday in a picture and just look at that the whole time while you paint everything around it.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's just something to think about, that you're not like a slave to nature.
Mm-hmm.
You're the boss, you're the artist, you're the one that chooses. Okay, so
can I just make a comment on that last one, the combined one? What I really like about that combination, besides the blurring in some places, is how the light areas really come alive because the dark areas are around it.
Yeah, that's what, see, that's at first I was like, I mean, that's really the thing, was I liked things about both these pictures so much. And really, I like the darker one better than the lighter one, I'd say.
Well, the painting, the real painting I did was the darker one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I can change some of those things really easily.
Okay. Or just next time.
Well, no,
right, Carol, now we're back to Carol, but also I just have to escape for a second because where are the other Carol paintings? Oh, this one is up here. So what is going on? Just a minute. This, I'm sorry to tell you, this is what happens when I get so many paintings, so many photographs to deal with right when I get home from right before class starts. So those of you that sent me things early, I am grateful. Okay, Carol, so I'm not sure which is which. So there was this one. Oh, wait a minute. They're not even the same pictures, are they? Okay, so wait. So there's these two versions. So Carol, which is your preferred version? Pinker?
Well, neither of the color is right. It's too green in the first and it's too black in the second. It's somewhere in between and bluer.
Okay.
But in terms of which one is the latest, flick back again. That one.
Okay.
That one is the most recent.
So I decided not to put up the photograph you're working from because I don't think it matters at all what you're working from. I think you just want to make decisions about what would look best.
What's the medium?
It's oil.
Okay.
It's pretty thin though, right? You haven't.
Right. Janine, I'm having trouble. Can you come a little closer to the microphone?
Oh yeah, sorry. The paint's really thin, right?
Yeah, yes, it is thin.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to decide. Like, I like again, like with Barb's, I kind of like a combo of the two. But you said this one's not really this green. But so I'll just point out the one thing I noticed is that it looks like this landmass here is lower than the one that's in front of it. So you have to be sure that the water comes up a little more and separate these two. Even if it doesn't, you might have to lie a little bit. And then I think, let me just go back to this one too. Like I think this one would benefit from a darker sky up here. And you could also, like, I'm not really sure where the sun is in this picture, but you can show that a little bit by, where is the sun?
The sun, I think the sun is way over to the right.
Like over here somewhere, right?
Yeah, but back behind my shoulder.
Yeah, okay.
Not totally behind, but it's over that way.
Okay, so I think this looks really good, so bright right behind these trees, but I think I would consider having it fall off as it gets further away from the sun.
Okay.
And then, you know, I like, you kind of got that Z thing going, which I always look for in my own work. But
I'm not understanding you.
There's a shape right here that makes a Z. That the light follows sort of a Z shape. And that is something I always try to I think about it a lot. I don't always have it, but having the light do that kind of shape. If you look at great painters, you often see a sort of Z shape in their landscapes. So I feel like it's, you haven't finished it yet, but I just feel like it's kind of muddled a little bit. And I just would like you to decide where your center of interest is and where you want people's eye, how you want people's eye to move in the picture. And yeah, it's a little too, it's just started. I just think I assume you're going to do more, right?
I'm going to sit on it for a while and then I'll come back.
Well, that's the thing to do, is just leave it in a corner somewhere so that it surprises you. So this is not, is this the most current version of this one? When I said that the tree and the land.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said something about it being maybe a little too pink. It might be a little too pink. It is, the fog is moving across, right? And is the sun shining through the fog?
The fog is actually coming right at me. And I don't think I've shown that well, that it's just looming. And it probably shouldn't be as pink, but I'm afraid to put more paint on it.
Oh, well, just, do it again. Yeah. Do it in pastel or something.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. It's got so many beautiful things in it, of course.
It's beautiful.
I think it might be that you need to darken it a little bit behind the land, where the land mass is.
But you can't see the land.
Yeah, I know you can't.
Because the fog is so looming.
Okay, well, it's as always.
So how do I make that fog? It's just pouring around the corner of that island.
Well, I just said the only thing I could think of is maybe just show a little more of the land through it. I didn't realize it was fog, but maybe that's just me. Like, this looks foggier to me than this, because I can see a little hint of land. And since I've never been in this spot, I just don't know. I don't know, a little more dark, just a tiny bit, not like over here, obviously.
You mean like a shadow behind it, sort of?
Well, like that you can see the land through it a tiny bit, even though maybe you can't, but just something that would give a sense that there's something behind.
Oh.
That's all. I just can't quite tell that. Oh, there's Carol's picture. So you can see, you actually can see that Z shape here. And this is all burned out, I know, but I think it would look better maybe if it wasn't so burned out. Jane, yay, Jane.
Oh.
She picked something so hard to do. You did good, Jane. Your sky is incredible.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Looks great.
Yeah, especially those top wisps going up. That's
wow.
Yeah,
that looks great.
These guys are probably a little too, maybe they should just be a little paler, just a tiny bit of lavender or something over them, so they don't look like they're just as close to me as these ones. It might be a lie, but lies are good, especially that. And the other thing, when you do it in oils, you can do the whole background and then let that dry and then put these trees on top. So that's the big advantage of doing a scene like this in oil paints. So yeah, good job. Best sky ever.
Beautiful.
And Sarah, are you here?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, so
wow.
Sarah, I thought this looked really good. Look how well she drew it too. It's just like
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
What I said.
But she said she was ready to throw it away. But what we have to talk about here is something that's important on every painting you do. And also, I always sort of go with this idea that can I learn more by continuing to work on something, or should I start something new? And so in this case, I think there's more to be learned. And the reason is that the problem with this, the biggest problem is that I can't tell where the light and dark is. So some places that are supposed to be the darkest or dark are light, and some places that are supposed to be light are dark. So it's confusing as the viewer.
Right.
So I just did this in like a few minutes. I just went in and I selected the places. Because you drew it so well, I had an easy time. I just selected these places that were supposed to be darker and darken them, and then tried to lighten up some places. So I lost all your, you know, nice strokes and all that, but it's just a crude like way to show you that. I mean, I certainly don't like it better than what you did. It's just to show you that that's what's wrong.
No, I like it. I like it. And I really, it was just, I was getting confused by all the multiple layers there and trying to keep them all straight.
What you could try is like just starting things kind of, okay, so here's the lightest sort of, or just start with two things. Just start for a color for the darks and a color for the lights, but not your lightest light. Obviously, don't start with your really lightest light. Just start with something that you can tell the difference in. Kind of a medium color for your light, and then as dark as you can get your darks. It is super confusing. I get that, because you have light shining through things, you have light shining on things. But yeah, I think you did. And then the other thing I did was I toned down the background some.
Okay.
Repetitive. You know, I know that's really there and all, but you know, if I was going to edit this photograph to use it for something, I would dull that down too.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Okay, good. Good, really good effort. My God, those guys are hard.
That's great.
Is Sue here yet? Okay, I'm going to skip Sue's because she can't be here till later. But yeah. Well, and have you worked on it since now?
No. I just watched your video today. So
okay. Yeah, no, I think it's a really good start, and you really followed instructions very well.
Maureen, it looks great.
Yeah, it does. Also, you can be a little more
aggressive.
Aggressive, that's the word. Yeah, you can be a little more aggressive with your pastel.
I know. I that's hard for me to just lay it on there.
Well, you don't have to, but what happens, you just now go ahead and use more, because what happens is the gray paper is showing through so much, it grays it all down. So I can't tell if you have strong enough contrast in a way, because there's so much gray paper. So just keep pushing your contrast, and as you go, just use more pastel. And remember, you can spray it. I don't know if you got fixative, but you can spray it.
I just, it's sprayed at this point, but I haven't put anything on top of the spray.
Well, after you spray it, you can do a lot of stuff. So don't be afraid to use the pastel.
Well, the thing I was most thrilled about in the one you sent when you finished yours was that I could keep using the charcoal, because that black pastel,
Yeah, I'm glad that I managed to mention that, because charcoal. And let's see, there was something else you said, wasn't there? What was that? Oh, I can't remember. You can make your highlights stand out more right away too, like on the teapot and stuff.
Yeah, I can see that on the pot. It's I used a yellow that wasn't bright enough. I should probably go straight to white on some of those.
Oh no, you would just go over the yellow with the white, but you wouldn't start with white. You would start with whatever color you wanted in your white, and then right, because if you just use white, then you got nowhere else left to go. So all right, so just a minute. I'm going back to my email. Back to my share. Hi guys, I hope I'm doing okay. It's doing my best. I really am, I swear. Okay, so here is Franz. And this was, did you say this was pastel pencil or watercolor pencils? On. Okay, is she there?
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay. This was the watercolor pencils one?
No, they are pastel pencils, but on watercolor paper because that's all I had with me.
Yeah, this is beautiful. This looks great. Did you have watercolors too?
I did, but I didn't use them on this one. I used them on the other, but I didn't combine them, which might have been interesting to try.
It's pretty amazing. I should send, I don't know, did you see the little video I made for the high school class of using pastels on top of watercolors?
I don't remember it, but that was back in the spring.
Yeah, sometime.
I'll have to go search for that. Yeah, I was thinking that when I saw this, when I finished this, I thought that's what I should have done because then I could get rid of some of the white specks.
Mm-hmm. It is great, good fun, you know, it's really great. It goes so fast. It's the perfect thing for just little outdoor sketches that, you know, you have to be finished and refined and everything. But this is really beautiful. Your colors in here are great. And this is the cape?
Yes.
Yeah. And then this is just watercolor, right?
That's, yeah, well, I started with pen.
I see. Whoops, sorry. Okay. Yeah, you started with pen.
I started with the pen and then I did the watercolor. Then I added a little more pen over in that marshy grass on the left that it got a little too dominant.
Oh, what kind of, I want you to send me what kind of pen it is. Does it bleed a little bit when you use the water and does it bleed purple?
No, that was the paint that I was using. So what I did was I used watercolor. Almost the last thing I did was add some color to all those houses because they were just little white spaces. But then there was a lot of color, so I blotted it out to make them grayer.
Mm. Well, it looks really nice. It really
paper towel.
That's great.
It is.
And the sand that's nearby, I blotted that too when it wasn't quite dry, and I kind of liked that effect.
I do too. Watercolor is so fun. Well, good work.
That came out beautiful.
It really did. Did anybody else just send me something?
I text messaged you my teapot.
Okay, just a minute. Oh God, Maria, geez.
That's all right. And yours, I sent you yours and mine with your revisions, but.
Oh, well, we don't care. Well,
okay. No, we do care about yours.
Okay.
It's a good teaching tool.
Yeah, you had quite the week too for trying to get anything else done besides what you have to do. Yeah. All right, so look at this.
Wow.
Nice job.
Wow, that braided handle.
Wow.
Yeah, no, right? I would never even try that myself. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really good.
I've painted that a lot of times. I have never done that. I just remember what Morgan asked me about, and it's something I should talk about with this too. The perspective thing. Let me just see now if I can open the other one and you'll still be able to see it.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec. Can you see a different version now of this getting?
Yep.
In a second. Okay, so this was just the one I guess it'd be good if you could have seen. Well, oh golly. Okay, I think I have to see both of them at once. Oh, that's it. Okay. So. Oh, well, not let me see both at once. You bastard. Oh my God, I'm still recording. have to cut out the swears, mine and Barb's. Okay, so what I said was when you change, if you change color in the light, so like you change here from the white to the gray, I mean the white to the green, then you have to also change color in the shadow. So you have to be sure that your shadow is a different color on the white than it is on the green, because otherwise it just looks like a stain. And then I think there was drawing problem maybe on the picture.
Yeah.
And so it kind of is that same thing. It's not, I know it's not symmetrical, and it's even more confusing than the other picture that Mary had, but it just needed to be more symmetrical.
Yeah.
I just sort of worked on the shadows a little bit. This needs to be darker down here, and that reflection follows very much the, so like your colors and the forms and things that, I mean, the colors reveal the form of stuff. So when the shadow just kind of randomly, the reflected light kind of randomly moved up there, it didn't show the fact that the little thingy turns under.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, like what I was talking to, trying to explain to Morgan, but not doing a very good job, and I'm getting ready to do a little drawing of it maybe, is if a circle is on your eye level, like right at your eye level, which means just lined up right with your eyes, then it will just be a straight line. If it's below your eye level, then it curves up like a little smiley face curving up. And the further down it goes, that's why you can see into this one a little more than you can see into this, because this one is further down. So in this picture, your eye level is up here somewhere. And then you can see into here, you can see into there. So this line here has to be at least as curvy as this line. Okay. The reality is it's probably a tiny bit more, but if you make it less, that's not good. So unless your stays on, and he did it a lot. So you want, this line here curves, this line needs to curve at least as much. And this would be the most curving line right here because of the, because of, it's the lowest on your eye level. Okay. So that's for everybody.
Thanks.